because of our non-understanding of the ahimsa value. Because we had a great value for non-killing of the cows. So it seems the Muslims understood it and they came with 200 heads of cattle before its what you call army, and Indians came back, withdrew in, not instead of fearing the killing of the cow, they withdrew, and the Muslims won the country without even firing an arrow. It's recorded in history.
Correct. You're right. You're right. So we have a long way to go, Ramaji. Indians have a long way to go. But we are getting there. We'll get there. Any other questions? Yeah, Swapna, go ahead.
Namaste. The value of Arjavam. So I was thinking about it. When we are trying to inculcate a value, Swamiji says, right, you fake it to make it. So at that time, your thought may not be in line with your word, right? So here you're making a deliberate attempt to inculcate a particular value. So at that moment, Arjavam is not, it's not there, right? You're not practicing Arjavam at that time, right? This is
So in order to get the value of Arjavam completely, there will be a lot of Anarjam. There will be Anarjam. It will be, it's like learning to ride the bike. You're not riding the bike. Even though you're riding the bike, you're really not riding the bike. And you are not riding, and riding, not bad riding, then right. So that's how it is. Correct. So you have to go through that process. Yeah. Yeah, Lakshmi ji, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to talk, when Shanti is saying when elders are there in the house, my own experience, my mother-in-law was on dialysis for 5 years. And usually what happens, as soon as we take her to the hospital, of course, she's no more now, they within a span of 4 hours, they will reduce their weight by 3 to 4 kgs. All the toxins are removed out, okay? What the kidney does, the machine does. And she used to undergo a lot of depressions. There was one day I was in a school, I was teaching Bhagavad Gita, and suddenly my husband's uncle, he called me and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in school." Then immediately he said, "Don't lie." I said, "No, Mama, I'm not lying." And suddenly the children also started chanting. And then he said, "I'm sorry, Amma." Then I came home and he was also there. He said, "Good, you have come." And then it so happened that she had called him and complained, saying that I was pushing her out of the house, where I was nowhere in the house. And then, we took her to a psychiatrist the same day. And he said, these are the depressions they go through. And, I just want to tell Shantiji, even when sometimes it happens with our mothers also, we answer them back. We get angry. And at that time, we don't feel guilty. And sometimes when your husband becomes a senior citizen, that also will crop in. So I think, this is all part and parcel of life. And sometimes silence is very, very, very good. It's not arrogance. It is just controlling yourself. And then after 5-10 minutes, you can come back and answer them. Because they are also undergoing, they are also helpless. They also depend on us. So I think if you view it that way, it happens. And another thing, why I said ahimsa with the children, Guruji, 3 months back, a teacher whacked a child in our school. And the man, he was a general manager of UCO Bank. He had around 20 branches under him. And he wrote a beautiful love letter to me. You know, this is temple of education and all those things. And it was a 6th standard child. And he said, I made my son read this before I gave it to you. He didn't have any complaints. He said, you please sign it on the paper. He wanted my signature on the paper. Literally, I begged him, you know, he wouldn't allow me at all. Because and I personally didn't want to sign because he can go to the court also. And, you know, he says, I don't want the teacher to be removed because it is her livelihood. All those tamasha he spoke. After 2 hours, you know, I said, you're like my son. Okay, I can understand what you're going through. I said, this time you please excuse. I said, I don't want to get, I apologize for whatever my teacher has done. And, you know, he even tells me that I have not brought a TV fellow to your school to record all these things. And, you know, he was playing with his phone also because and I felt he was recording what I was talking. So utmost patience. Literally, I didn't fall at his feet. And he was just, a young father around 40 years. And he insisted that I sign the paper. And he said, Madam, எனக்கு வந்து ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆக போகிறது in April. நான் டிசி வாங்கும் போது இந்த லெட்டர் கொடுத்துட்றேன் உங்களுக்கு. Whatever letter you have signed, I will give it back to you. Then, you know, like I said, patience is very, very, very important. You just cannot jump. And ultimately, you know, he said, you are the one and the only soul in my life who has not signed a paper given by me. I said, thank you, my child, and I sent him. So I think we will have to learn patience. No choice, no escape.
Tough situations. Tough situations. You know, not everybody has that kind of a job.
No, you have no choice, Guruji. You just cannot open your mouth. You cannot speak the wrong word. In the house, we may shout, but there you can't.
Correct. Correct.
I just wanted to share my thoughts, Shanti.
Good example. Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Ji.
Prasad, go ahead.
So going back on the discussion of ahimsa, so when we take, so basically the value involves hurt, mainly hurt, right? So it surrounds around hurt or injury. So when we talk about nutritious food and all, when in the diet when it becomes non-vegetarian, so where I get, it is the hype or notion that today when I eat chicken or whatever, so that gives me protein. So, but then here there is a hurt involved for the animal. So it's obviously, I would consider it as a ahimsa, killing an animal which is trying to run away from me. During my childhood, when I wanted to catch the hen or chicken, they try to run away from me, right? So that means it is afraid of me, that whatever it is going to happen to that. Similarly, the butchering of animals, you have to see their eyes, how much. So anyway, when it comes to animals, it is ahimsa because they're trying to run away from us. That's very clear. Now, the next level is the plants food which we take. So where they don't run away because they're at the same place, but we take the fruits or whatever, leaves, everything to eat. I have become vegan because relatively I felt that taking milk is sort of himsa in one sense. It is relative, I'm saying. Others may not feel that. The moment I went through these courses of environmentalist issues, immediately I became vegan. So earlier vegan was not a famous word. Today vegan came after vegetarian today. So there is something involved in the vegan process. So the milk is part of it. Well, we have been having the milk for a long time because it is nutritious, but at the same time we used to give milk to the calf also. But today, like you mentioned already, the machines we use, and in fact in US, they don't give milk to the calf. They've just taken away, and their fate is different.
So, I mean, that is himsa again, not giving milk to the cow. So that way it is relative. So just wanted to share my definition of himsa here.
Right, right. No, so that's where milk and milk products come into the picture. Is that a person can say, I don't care about the suffering of the cows. And so I will continue to have whatever I want. And or I might say, I want to find out where this milk is coming from. In India, you have a little more options. The local people are all there. They'll get you the milk. You can find a little more about them. But no guarantees. No guarantees. Even India has become mechanized. And so we have to look into all that. But yeah, Himsa is lurking. Every nook and corner, Himsa is lurking. Buy from China, Himsa is there. You buy from Amazon, we don't know what kind of Himsa, where Himsa is there. All over the network is there. So that's why it's very complicated. Today, you have to really look into, and everything we buy. What about all the waste, chemical waste and plastic waste and all that is generated? Where is it going? It's going to somewhere. It's going. It's not getting dissolved, right? It's not getting dissolved. It's going, either it is burned somewhere or it's going to waters in the oceans. It's just floating like this. It's floating. Somebody to take care of. Who is that somebody who takes care of all? So it's very complicated. Really, I'm telling you. Life has become easy, but it has also become complicated as a big result of that youth. Yeah, Haraji, please go ahead.
Mahodaya, I'm sure you know this story, but I want to repeat it. There was a Muni who was doing his tapas, and a person was chased by the soldiers of the palace. Okay? Because he had done something. And this Muni saw all this, but when the Rajadutas came, they asked him, have you seen this person? He did not answer. So, was he doing, I'm talking about Arjavam and Satyam. I'm asking you, what he did is right?
What he did is right. Okay. Because he was
And
asking.
mainly regarding Arjavam and Satyam.
Yeah. So remember, the good news is it's all interpreted, right? Interpreted. So the good news is we have to ask more questions. Before I answer the question, I'll have to ask you more questions.
Ask me. Ask
So
me.
what is it? What else happened? Is the person hiding in the Muni's, kutia, or is the person
Okay.
ran away? Or
The Muni saw this. He saw him coming towards him and going somewhere nearby his hut. He knew where he was gone.
okay.
But if the Muni has opened his mouth, the Rajadosa would have taken him.
Yeah, it could be right or wrong based on the context. Yeah, it could be wrong also. We shouldn't be afraid. We should be afraid to say it is wrong. What the Muni did is wrong.
No, I won't say it is wrong, because if you're hurting another person because of something he did, we don't know how this king is going to treat this. Whether the king is right or wrong, we don't know. So the Muni took the decision not to divulge his identity.
Yeah, so there's a lot of information that we don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you know, and the situation is like that. So based on the situation, he chose to do like. He says, this in this kind of a kingdom, you should never allow a guy to be captured, because capturing is equal to torture. Capture is equal to torture, right? And so he's decided that way. So interpret it. So for us, the lesson for us is what? It has to be interpreted. We must be smart enough to interpret every moment and not be guided by somebody did
Yeah.
sometime, every moment things are changing. So who did sometime, some other past is irrelevant. I can use it only to learn how to interpret.
Yeah.
Correct? Learn how to interpret.
Every situation, it may not be according to the thought, deed, or anything. Everything has to be interpreted based on that particular situation.
And that is dharma. So that's why dharma is not absolute, dharma is relative.
Yeah.
Any value,
Thank you.
any value is like that. Any
Yeah.
value.
धन्यवादः महोदय.
Yeah. Anuradha ji, go ahead.
Talking about this ahimsa, and again, like in what mind you are doing it, because it happened that I had to also visit a slaughterhouse. Being an account manager, I had to actually go to that operation, which like I didn't like, but I have to do my duty. So I went. And what they were saying to me, that we do it the most humanly way we could. And their humanly way is, and they're quite okay with that. So it's again the interpretation. So what they do, and they showed me, but I didn't actually see the slaughter. I said, okay, that much I cannot take any more. So what they do, they get those cows, and that's cow slaughtering. So they get those cow, and then they cover the eyes and everything to the cow, and they put them in a way, so for sure I think like someone shots, and like right in here, and it's really one shot and the cow's dead.
Yeah.
So in their way, they're doing the best possible way that it can be done. So in their mind, they're okay. But to me, it will never be okay.
Right. So they have made up their mind that I must have this meat. And so once that is given, then now how do I minimize the hurt that I'm going to cause to this animal? That is their approach. Suppose a person says, no, that itself is not acceptable. Your assumption itself is not acceptable to me. That consuming meat, I can survive without consuming cow meat. Suppose somebody says, and suppose somebody says, go fight with the cow out in the open, kill the cow. You want to eat the cow, you kill the cow with your bare hands, because the cow is also bare, And so two bare people should fight it out. And then the winner takes it all, right? And do that. Suppose somebody says, and somebody like Prasad said, every animal is running away from us.
Yeah.
Very clear, very, very clear that they love their life.
Yeah.
Cow loves its
and I'm
life.
sure when they take those cows in there, they know, and that's why it is said that whoever takes meat, all the dukkham of that animal also goes into you. The suffering.
And this just to look at his perspective for a moment. We are doing it in a way to minimize the hurt. So they understand that the animal is going to feel pain, etc., trauma, whatnot. And so they are covering the thing, etc. That also causes anxiety and whatnot. And then the example you gave, using a gunshot, right? Instantaneous, assuming it's instantaneous death. I don't know if it is instantaneous. Let's assume it is instantaneous. I've seen videos of cows slaughtered in Hyderabad. Okay. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
And
It's nothing.
that's what their point
what,
was.
what you said is very, very humane compared to the ways they're slaughtering it.
And exactly that. And believe it or not, the slaughterhouses in Canada, their rules you wouldn't believe. That I had to check that everything. And the thing is, when the slaughterhouse, like in the daytime, like all this thing happens and all that, and by the evening, everything is clean.
Everything is
Clean. Like
okay.
there is like nothing. Because
Oh.
like after the like they have to like slice and obviously so all the blood, all that, everything is spick and span.
You won't even know that it is a slaughterhouse like that.
Exactly. So their thing is that when the cows come, like they really don't see any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know that the beef law here is very, very strict.
Okay. Yeah. So and then
It's bad for you to have it because like we know that at the death what the people might feel and all that, and that's we are eating that. So
yeah. So vegetarians don't need to be told about that. We all are very aware of that. Now, in Europe and all, even the transportation of animals, right? There's a lot of trauma that animals undergo through during transportation. Trucks, big trucks, etc. Temperature, hot, heat. And so there also, I think some countries are better than others in terms of regulation. I'm sure Canada should be one of the better countries, I feel.
Yeah.
And because I've seen a lot of I used to follow a lot of these things. And US, Europe was not good in certain situations. And so anyway, this is a big thing. And yeah,
when we talk about the Satyam and say it nicely,
okay.
Not on this one, but the Satyam, here the doctors are so good about it. Even if you have something very bad, the way like they will say it, the truth, and then they change the, like, oh, it's nothing, they just put this. It's just a stain they will put on. Like the way they say. You say,
That's
oh,
good.
okay,
That's
so
good,
it's
right?
nothing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. We also want to hear that. Oh, is that right? It's so simple. Yeah, it's very simple. It's only a 2-hour process. Good. So you're right. Right. So the doctors understand the anxiety that patients go through.
Just to add on what Anuradhaji said, even I don't think it is humane in the sense, I have seen like they go in line, for example. Here, suppose even they are in the vicinity when they're shooting. See, they are intelligent. Animals may not have consciousness higher, but they are intelligent. They knew that whatever happened to the other one will happen to them. Because by saying this, in other way, they go in the queue, and one is dead. I saw the video clearly. The one which is going in that direction was actually going back with the fear in their eyes. So then at that point, that one, the guy who does slightly whistle or give some sort of piece to that by whistling so that it move forward, something like that. So basically, my point is that they knew that other one was shot. They knew that it's going to come to them. So that intelligence will be there. So they may think that it is.
Yeah. So, Prasad, I think there is no, it is going to be extremely difficult to justify animal killing. Okay. Okay. Only if somebody proves no, animals can't feel any anxiety. If somebody can prove that, it's going to be impossible to prove that. And if that's the case, you can't really, you can minimize, like Anuradha said, you can do things which minimizes. But yeah, what's going on in the cow's mind, who cares, right? Who cares?
Yes.
And just because that is also only because of animal rights activists, the government is coming up with all these regulations. If there are no activists like that, government doesn't care about all this. Which government is going to care about? And for our purposes in India, India has become the largest exporter of beef, and that's the saddest part for a country that claims to worship the cow and all that, right? So we have to turn. We have a long way to go here, Prasad. This India has to show the world how to lead a life and with least himsa. What maximum himsa is happening in India if it is exporting so much beef? Where is it? What's going on? Look at all the transportation from Kerala onwards, all the way to West Bengal. Cows are being transported and whatnot. We see all these videos. It's just we have to just uncover the whole thing, and it'll take us some time, I think. But
in Coimbatore is always a tension place because Hindu activists and Muslim cattle traders who stuff the cows in the lorries and take across. So it's always a tension in Tondamutur area and all these things where they try to go over the Walayar and all these things. They have got a place near Tondamutur where the cows which are caught by the authorities and left to that ashram where they take care of it and all is there. So this
yes.
is the tension in Tondamutur area many times.
Okay, yeah, I heard of that place, that cow sanctuary, and yeah, when I was driving in Coimbatore the other day in the morning, I saw somebody riding a scooter. And then something in the open area in the front of him, there was something big extending on both sides. Immediately, my mind said, no, this is not looking right. And then I looked, and then a cow's leg was hanging on the other side. It's going on. People, the desire to have flesh is so much that we'll see. Bhagavan will show us the way. We'll have to keep pushing. We'll have to pray and we'll have to.
Even Bengal and Bangladesh border, even heinous, the way they transport
Yeah.
through the, if you see those videos, it's horrible. Yeah. The way
A
they
lot of
push
people
through
got
iron.
caught, and they were the ruling party there, Trinamool.
Yeah.
And yeah, one person got caught. It's like made so much money on that,
Mhm.
exporting cows.
A daily affair. The BSF and cattle smugglers. And
Yeah.
the border. It's a long
There is,
border.
there is a group in Gujarat. Okay, I came to know about them. Very interesting group. They are their only objective is to stop all these cow smugglers. And bunch of people. It's run by a lady actually, and a lot of support for her is there. And she just stops them and then hands them to the authorities, and they free the cows. That's the job they do constantly. They do that. I used to remember the name. Now I don't remember the name. But like that, I'm sure there are many people. But I'm glad we're discussing it because that shows that it's all part, we have to be aware of everything that's going on so that we can make sense out of what it is all about. And these days, children are very intelligent. They know a lot about many things. And so, especially in these matters, we have to be very aware. Anyway, thank you very much for having that discussion. So we'll continue. Okay.
Oh, Miraji's question is.
Oh. Yeah, the background is yellow, hand is also yellow, so I couldn't see it. Good.
Namaste, Guruji. So this interpretation, justification and all that, no, the Professor Mahadevan made a very good point. He said like that the dharma, if it precedes artha and kama, not much interpretation it is required for dharma. Because you know there is violence, that is very clear. Kama and artha comes later, then there is less violence. We don't practice violence. When kama and artha precedes dharma, then you try to bend dharma according to your desire. That is when you have a lot of doubts coming up whether this violence has to be justified, whether it is okay. So that was a very interesting point which actually struck me, even with respect to slaughterhouses, cleaning up everything, they know very well it is not right. Because of the demand and the economy and all those things, and maybe religion also to some extent plays a role. That's why we talk about Shiva Puja, having milk, Abhishekam. Even in our religion, we talk about it. But when you take dharma as the quality, as the purushartha which has to be on the top and then follow the artha and kama, I think justification, we don't need to justify many things.
Right. You don't have to justify, but see, suppose somebody tells, suppose your child comes and says, Ma, you talked about ahimsa, but you're stepping over all these ants and all these things. Look, you stepped over so many ants, you killed so many ants. So then you have to respond. You have to respond to that statement. And so you can never prevent himsa. You cannot never prevent himsa. Okay. Neither are you justifying himsa. Hey, no, ants will die. You can't say all that also. You have to interpret. That's what we mean by interpreting. So
Yeah.
correct. Dharma is primary number one. Your statement is correct. Mahadevanji's statement is correct. If dharma is primary, then there will be fewer and fewer of these arguments.
Yes. And one more thing I was thinking about was the perceptive skills which has been provided by us to us by nature with respect to seeing things around, like the smallest of the bacteria, virus, what we step on everyday basis, what we have in our body also. There is a reason behind which we are not able to see it. And because when we stretch himsa to a great extent, it's very difficult for us to live, because there's so much of himsa happening in day-to-day life. Even water has that content, what we are drinking, it could be himsa. So nature has provided us that we are able to see certain things properly, and they are sentient enough that you should not hurt them. So maybe the eyes and the senses, what we are perceiving on a daily basis, is giving us a signal that to what extent you can actually follow. Ahimsa is clear in those aspects. That's what I felt. Like, you can extend it to various things, and you can tie there are Jain monks who actually want to, but there also there is no 100% ahimsa. There only to some extent it can be followed. So maybe nature also has given us, it's trying to convey a message that you have to practice, but there is a boundary. There are certain things what you can perceive. The pain can be perceived by animals. Maybe you should avoid. So something I was thinking in those lines.
Right. So himsa cannot be eliminated 100%. That's not possible.
Yeah, it cannot be avoided, but
Cannot be possible. Even in conversations.
yeah.
You cannot say, I will talk in such a way that I will not hurt the other person. You can't say that.
Exactly.
You can't say that. Not possible. Even the best friends can hurt each other. Therefore, it's going to constantly happen. So you only minimize, and there are certain forms of himsa in our culture which are just not acceptable. Go hatya is not acceptable. Go hatya, Brahmana hatya, it is all listed. It's all listed. Maximum papa for that. Brahmana means a teacher. Killing a teacher is is guaranteed naraka for that person. All these are listed. So given that we are sensitized to all that. So we are able to have this conversation because we are part of this culture. Well, we take a lot for granted there. But the world seems to be operating in a different way. That's what I'm saying.
And it's so well connected with Krodha, because we have a Subhashitam also, no? In Krodha, you can kill a guru. So it is so well connected with Krodha. Most of the time, the Himsa comes because of Krodha.
Okay. Yeah. Krodha also causes Himsa. Go ahead.
This is yeah, sorry, I'm bringing it up so late. But the Abhishekam part, right? When milk is extracted in such a himsa, with so much pain for the cow, that offering to the Lord in temples, it's always unsettling for me. I've come a long way. Doesn't like, somewhere I've made peace with it, but the thought keeps popping up. There was a time when, yeah, maybe the temples used to have cows, and it was all, there was a time, I'm sure, where it was not like this. But in modern times, there's so much of himsa over dairy, and and we continue to do this. Especially here, you see, people bringing cans of this milk that they get from the grocery store, and just giving it to the Shiva temple, and the priest just pouring. I don't know. Is there something that is that okay?
No, I can't give you a blanket yes. It's or no. I can't say that. Neither. It's not okay. It's not a blanket okay there, because Himsa is happening. You can choose to ignore the Himsa. No, God is very important for us, and therefore for that. Some people you can interpret like that. But Bhagavan, suppose Shiva comes up and says, "Wait a minute, you're hurting a cow, and then you're doing abhishekam with that milk." What will you respond? You just say, "Oh, wait, what did you say?" You So Shiva will not condone the Himsa. Will Shiva condone Himsa? No, I don't think so. I don't think he will condone Himsa. Vishnu will not condone the Himsa of animals. Therefore, we have to have these discussions with those people. That's why this provide for some interesting discussion. And Shastra study is so important. Otherwise, we'll get stuck in all these vague ideas and not understanding. Those days they used to do it because there was no Himsa. The cow that gave the milk is there right in the temple.
Right.
And it's doing namaskar to Shiva also. That's a different ballgame altogether compared to where we are today.
Yes.
So no, I can't say it's okay. This discussion has to be had, and it's somehow it's a very complex topic, because then somebody will say, a lot of milk is wasted. They throw the milk in the ocean. They produce so much milk. What do you do? What do the grocery stores do? Do you know what the grocery stores do? I'll show you. Come, let's in the midnight. I'll show you. Come, let's go outside Randall's, and then I'll show you what they do. They're pouring all the milk out. This argument will be there. Everywhere you go, there will be somebody to argue for or against. And so this dharma is a culture, a country where they don't believe in ahimsa ahimsa is just animal, human ahimsa I can understand. But beyond humans, meant for our consumption, if they say, then they'll be constantly beating around the bush. Nothing really will move forward. What has happened to all this meat consumption, beef consumption, ozone, methane gas, this, that, global warming, everything? A lot of the global warming happens from this cow consumption. What is happening? Nothing happens because nobody is interested in it. Every country is a meat-eating country. I think the olden days are gone. India is now become the biggest exporter of cow meat. So we have to turn it around. We have some hope in Yogi Adityanath and all that. He's doing some good things. So we'll see. We have to tighten the screw here a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
And the cows in India eating plastic, and it is just very sad and very painful. It's just not, yeah, I
so,
don't know. It's, we
Swapna,
have a long way to go.
Swapnaji, I was thinking like probably next Shivratri, by next Shivratri, take one Shivalinga, maybe we should do all of us, one Shivalinga in hand and have all the destitutes who are hungry, one spoon of Abhishekam and drink one glass of milk. At least they are happy with their stomachs full. Some food made of milk. Use the milk to feed and one spoon of satisfy the Abhishekam part also. Minimize.
For me to pour that milk, I need to know that the cow was not, tortured. The calf had its milk, and I can't in this country, I cannot guarantee that I will find such a cow and such a milk.
I think one step, you can't just take it off from from where it comes. So one step of awareness could be to feed that to people who are in need of it. The Shiva will.
I don't know. I think I will take the stand of not pouring milk on Shivalinga. That would be my stand.
Good. So that's good that we're having the discussion. So we will see if we can find some initiatives where we can do certain things to create awareness to these issues. Just create awareness. There is something like people should. Plastic is there. Cows are consuming plastic and dying. Milk is there. Milk extraction. How do you do it? Highlight people who treat cows humanely. How about that? We can do those kinds. We can support those organizations. I'm sure Sapna knows many, and Coimbatore and other places, wherever, it doesn't matter. We can support it through our organization. We can do it. We can highlight that aspect. Ahimsa is a value. What it means to us. Is it just a word in the dictionary? Is it just a word in Bhagavad Gita? Or are we supposed to live that? I think that is a big topic. Yeah. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantarye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trilokyanathaya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.